So today the topic I'm going to talk to you is going to be very useful, I believe, because I always been emphasizing that self-esteem is so important. Self-esteem, self-concept, self-compassion, all these things, all these topics are going to improve our ideas of ourselves and gives us a lot of love and affection towards one's own self unconditionally. But it is so easy to tell, but it's very difficult to follow, because when we say that now COVID-19 is there, it can affect us, and when we go out we have to take care by wearing masks or using the sanitizer. Similarly, even our own mind, it's not just very safe. We are all vulnerable each and every day. The moment we get up, and we are going to hear some words of critics from our own family members, and the time you step out, maybe from your teachers, or for some people it may be their own family members like spouses or siblings or anyone for that matter, and also even sometimes friends. And when you go to office, needless to say, managers or any other persons, so we are just, and also public. So every time we go out, we are actually facing a lot of vulnerability, wherein we can be hurt by the words of people. It's not necessary that they have to take a gun and shoot us, or they have to just use a sharp knife to hurt us. Just the words are enough. So here, but when I say the term words, I'm not talking about the constructive criticism, because always when I talk about self-esteem, I've been using these two concepts, that is constructive criticism as well as destructive criticism. So constructive criticism is something which you really need to listen and change. So this topic is not about how to deal with constructive criticism, but how to deal with destructive criticism, which is aimed to, really distract us or destroy us, or somebody who is very emotional is trying to vent on us. So we are like, like a garbage bin, where we have to take all these words and make sure that doesn't actually hurt us. So if you could see a fresh plant like this here, it is so fresh, but if the moment it's going to be affected by the wind or rain, it's going to get hurt. Similarly, our beautiful self, every day it is blossoming like a beautiful self, but it's actually hurt by such words, isn't it? So I've also heard from a lot of my clients that a particular statement said by so and so, even the persons who had delivered that statement would have forgotten by now, but these people keep on rehearsing the words and regretting about it, and also make without their own knowledge, it is going to affect their self-esteem as well. And if your self-esteem is affected, surely your motivation is going to be affected, and the whole thing is going to be destroyed. So it is very, very important that we make sure that our blossoming self-esteem, which is always is going to be with us, should not be affected by external critics. Here I'm not going to talk about internal critics. Same tips can also apply to your internal critics, and make sure that you don't criticize yourself first. So here I'm going to present you very useful and easy tips for managing your self-esteem from not getting hurt by external factors. So the first thing you have to imagine, I'm going to give you some nice imagination, and make sure you switch on your creativity and visualization buttons to help manage these kind of criticism. But before doing this, just make sure that the critics given by others, you should always make sure, is it a destructive or a constructive critics. These tips are only going to be useful for destructive criticism, and for constructive criticism you really need to work on it. So let's see now. So for the visualization, the first thing is, you can imagine having a suit of armor. Just have this visualization. When somebody is saying something, maybe it's your mother-in-law or your sister-in-law or your manager or your own husband or wife, whatever it may be, just imagine you're wearing a suit of armor or a bullet-proof vest, or you can imagine having an invisible cape, or you can just imagine all these put downs that you can sidestep, and you can just think about a breeze that salts but without touching you. And you can imagine, like in movies we see this actually, like a bullet which is coming towards you, or or arrow which is coming towards you, but just that it is missing you. So all this imagination during such criticism, before which you need a lot of mindfulness, that it's a kind of destructive criticism, so that I should not affect my heart getting hurt by these things. So use these visualization, any one or two, you can imagine it more and more often, so that at that time of critics it can come so handy for you. Okay, so you can imagine that. So these visualization can help you. And the next tip is to what kind of self-talk you should have about the person who is giving the critics. So this is about those people who is giving the critics. You need to think about those people in this way. What way? Let's see. The first thing is, you should think like, okay, oh, something must be bugging him or her. Okay, so just because something is bugging him or her, he is just behaving that way. You have to think like that. And next thing is, you need to think like, okay, somebody is actually putting me down. Does he really like himself? He must be really hating himself. Actually, that's a fact. Those people who are actually feeling good about themselves, positive about themselves, will only try to lift us up. They'll never put us down. So those people who are putting us down, please understand that they don't like them, first of all. So, and they should be like a poor person. He or she does not like himself. And maybe he's trying to impress others. He may need friends, he or she may need friends. So these are the thought processes you need to develop about those people who are giving such destructive criticism to you. Because generally, what are the thought process we might have about those people who criticizes us? Oh, they are great, they know better, and such a great people thinking low about me. Actually, you may think that you don't like them, but actually we keep them in a pedestal, and they are in your significant circle. That's why you give them the power to hate you or hurt you. So when you don't give them that power, it is nothing. These words are just nothing. Like I told you, these visualization can really help you. So you are attaching a lot of meanings towards this word, for which you need to understand that these words are just powerless, and you are the one who is giving the power, and you have the control to pull away or take away the power by using these tips. So what tip I gave, just for you to imagine and have these thought process about the other person who is giving you the destructive criticism. Now let's see what kind of ideas you should have about yourself when such criticisms are aimed at you. So the first thing is, whatever they're trying to do to me, I will make sure that does not bother me. And I'm still a good person. I'm still an okay person. So whatever they're trying to do to you, whatever words they're going trying to, to put you down or hurt you, intentionally or unintentionally, please understand these criticism may not always, they are like such a bad people, and they show in like in Tamil or Hindi soap operas. These kind of people are not really always hell bent on to defeat you. Maybe they are unintentionally doing it, maybe because they are like, they're just venting out their own ideas or emotions on you. So for these kind of things, you should have a clear cut idea about another person. So when it comes to you, you need to understand that whatever they're going to trying to say, I'm just going to make sure that it does not bother me. I'm still an okay person. And it is definitely not true about me. It is not true about me. And if they really knew me, they would not have said this. So this statement is very profound, because if they really knew you and all your ups and downs and all your background of life experiences, they wouldn't have said these words to you. So this is not true. I know it is not true. And also you should have another thing like, like a phrase or something like this. So sticks and stone can break my bones, but I will never let the words affect me. So also you should imagine that I'm still a good person. Always keep a positive ideas and opinions about yourself. Only when your self-esteem is low and when you're already having a very negative perceptions about your own self, you will easily be hurt. Your self-esteem will be so delicate, easily it will be hurt by others' words. But if your self-esteem is very strong, if it has a shield, imagine all these words will definitely not have any power to even come near you. So make sure that you make your self-esteem very strong, so that these kind of words will not permeate through these shields. Or let's say you have a lot of protective shields or layers of shields around your self-esteem, and just these words are not going to affect you. So people, you need to be really strong. And if you're not strong, be in the get into the process of like in the work in progress of being strong, and make sure you love yourself and make sure self-esteem is always high, so that these critics never even hurt you. Because this is a major problem all of us do face in our everyday life, because every day you go in a positive mood and suddenly you go down. It's like, it's like a balloon just hit by a needle, and immediately we are out of energy because of all this negative thought process, self-critics from inside as well as external critics. So this video is particularly we are talking about how to handle the external critics. So I've given under three major topics. One is how to visualize whenever you get that critics, and what thought processes you should have towards other persons, as well as the thought process you should have towards one's own self. That is a positive concepts. So I hope this video is of use to you. Please do share this video if you think you can help another person to protect their own self-esteem. And if you really want me to talk about any other topics, you can give in the comment section, and let's catch up in another video. Have a great day.